Well, thank you everyone so much for checking out this virtual screening of Dear Homeland and the first ever Cine Las Americas virtual showcase. Remember that this film is eligible for an audience award, so you'll be getting a ballot in your mailbox soon if you haven't already. Be sure to vote for it as a 5 as the best film because we'll count those ballots up, and there will be a cash prize for the best documentary feature film. So and then be sure to check out other films coming up all this weekend and next weekend for the virtual showcase. I am proud to have the filmmaker, director, producer, cinematographer, editor, list goes on, filmmaker extraordinaire Claudia Escobar here to talk about the film and talk about Diana's story, your story, and about what's going on. So thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm very, 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 very happy.
And hopefully, one day soon, you'll be able to share this film with an audience in Austin. I think Austin being a great music town, it would have been so great to have you and Diana come out and, have a party after the film. But for the time being, we'll do it virtually. So again, thank you. Talk a little bit about Diana and about how you came to her story and what was it about her that said, okay, I need to tell her story.
Yeah. Well, it goes back. We both used to live in the Mission District in San Francisco. So I was living there when she moved to the city, and then I knew about her. So there was, by the time, there was a very beautiful, like, Latino artist scene in the Mission. And so we kind of like knew or heard about each other, or like saw other people singing in like different events. And she used to play a lot at the Roosevelt Tamale Parlor. And a lot of people met her there because she used to play there very regularly. And I saw her there once, and then I was good friends also with Macru, and she used to play with Macru. And anyway, I've heard about her from many different ways. But we weren't very like close friends until maybe 5 years ago, or 4 years ago. I do stop motion animation, and she was about to have a YBCA show. So she was planning the solo show at the YBCA, and she called me to collaborate with her doing some animations to project for the screening and for the show. So we started talking more and became closer. And she told me that she was about to apply finally for her green card. And so we started talking about that. And I'm like, oh, how exciting. Because just a few years before, I had received my green card too. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy you're going to be able to go back home. For me personally, going back home has been one of the most bizarre experiences after like about 7 or 8 years of not stepping in my Colombia. So it was really moving and really like rich and emotionally like crazy. So I was really happy. And then she told me that she wanted to do a road trip from here, from the Bay Area to Juarez, where she's from. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And and so we started talking why, because when you fly, normally you don't have time to process things. And when you're on the road, you're really like getting to the place in real time with your soul or whatever. And so I was like, hey, why don't we make a documentary about this? Yeah. And that's how it all started. And so she agreed. So she said yes, and then I pitched it to KQED, and they said yes. And so we started making it, and 3 years later, we had a film.
Wow. So do you think, you talk a little bit about your own story, because there's a lot of parallels with Diana's stories, that you're both, like you said, you both got your green card, you're from Colombia, but was that, the movies are really about her evolution a little bit from being, she was afraid to tell anybody. And, when you're in this country, you are very guarded, before you can share that. So it's about her evolution of then coming out and kind of becoming an activist. Did you sort of follow a similar trajectory with how when you came to the country? And
we have very parallel stories, but there are some things that I think that are very different and that I learned so much from her stories. She has been a very brave immigrant. And even though during her time in Michigan, it was way harder than being in the Bay Area, because Michigan is different than the Bay Area. Being being undocumented and being from somewhere else is a little bit more tricky there than here. I think when she got here, because this place is so open, or I think it had changed a little bit, but it's been by tradition a very welcoming space for anyone. And like no one cares who you are from and what language do you speak, what color you have. I think it has been a very open space for many of us that had come here to the States. So I kind of like was in New York for a bit, just for a second, and then came here. So I've been most of the time here. So I didn't live kind of like what she lived in Michigan. But here, even though when I was in the shadows, I was really in the shadows. I wanted to be there, and I wanted to make no noise about that, and kind of like being really in the shadows. I think she was very brave to just speak out and like being proud of what she was. She made all this beautiful music that we all felt very connected. So I think the big difference with her and my story is that I think I was not as brave. And I think one of the big reasons why I wanted to show this story is because we shouldn't be afraid. We should not be afraid of like telling our truths or being ourselves, or like being open about who we are and have that freedom. So that also, I think making this film also helped me process so much of my own story in that way. In so many ways. But I think that one is like having the courage and the freedom to own your own existence. Exactly. I think is very powerful.
I think, hopefully, I mean, the film is very inspiring. So I'm hopefully that more people can see this and share their stories and sort of come out of the shadows. And hopefully now, a couple weeks ago, I think last week was the Supreme Court decision about DACA and Dreamers. So hopefully, maybe what's your take on that? Or do you see maybe a shift in the country, a sort of a pushback? And maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, something changes in November?
I think I'm optimistic. I'm an optimistic person, but I also don't know. I think, I really hope, I think big changes are happening right now. And I think we're speaking and people are speaking from many different angles. And I think that is so powerful. And I think there have been a few wins that are very powerful. The decision with DACA is one of them. And I think hopefully we keep pushing to make their journey to citizenship like that journey, and not being only with DACA, but continue pushing for freedom, I guess is how I call it. I really don't know what to think. Sometimes I feel very optimistic about everything, and there are other days that I am not at all. Because it's complex, and it is, I believe in our power, but I also think other powers are so powerful as well. And they do many things. So one thing that I want to say is that the more we are united, I think, and the more we know we're not alone in this, the more we are aware of that, besides other things that are not in our hands, but what is in our hands is having each other and supporting each other and being there for each other. I think that we can carry the whole world if we know that those things happen, that we're not alone in this. So I do believe in that, and like this, in our own support as the people and as a society, and as undocumented and as immigrants, and as Black people, and as everything that well the world pushes you some ways. I think we need to be stronger and be together.
I think obviously I think social media has really finally shown what it can do in terms of power, of uniting people. And who knows, I mean, in a weird way, COVID and everyone sort of being locked up, and now, we're seeing this sort of civil unrest and this huge change that, maybe finally everyone's staying at home and sort of, not, really focusing on what's important and not being distracted, and finally realizing and pushing back and say, no, we need to, we need things to change.
Yeah, I do think so. And things change. Things always change. And I think we are very powerful. We're more powerful than we think.
I think so. And I think it unfortunately took maybe a pandemic for us to realize that.
Yeah.
Maybe one good thing to come out of it. We'll talk about, you did have, if I read correctly, you did have an audience screening for the film. Was that right? Where people were able to watch it? What was sort of their reaction? What's been the reaction that you've heard back?
It's been lovely. That screening was lovely. I was very nervous, and it was also really weird because I was here by myself. I couldn't celebrate with anyone. So it was a little strange. But oh my God, the reactions were, it just makes me like inflate inside of happiness, because I think a lot of people is getting this concept of home and what home is, and like all the homes we have. And as I say before, I think it's this thing of being together that makes us feel at home outside of home. So the reactions have been, oh my God, like beautiful from everywhere. Like everybody in Colombia, the people that I know were there, and they were like, even like they didn't understand completely the whole English parts. I think they were really moved. Here in the Bay Area, a lot of people that is immigrant or first generations or second generations, like a lot of beautiful things have come, like this concept of not being from one place or the other, like how lucky we are, like at least Diana and I and the people that have a home to go back. And I think what I've been realizing is as I show this, is that, for a lot of immigrant families, when you grow up in a country that is telling you that you're not welcome, but you're from here, but you're not, like, you're from here, but you're not from here, and you're from there, but you're not from there. There is no, this concept of home is different. And I came to the realization making this film is like, we are also lucky to have a place over there that is home. So there have been so many beautiful reactions around this, and how a friend told me that she felt that she went to acupuncture where a lot of things energetically were moved. And so it's been really fulfilling. I really, really, really want to show it to everybody. And I have to say thank you to you guys for like giving another opportunity to the film to be shown.
Well, you're welcome. No, that was our hope with the festival. And like I said, hopefully someday we can experience this film in person, because I think it really is a film. I mean, not just the music, but like you said, the story, everyone's inspired to then tell their story. And everyone has a similar story. And like you said, I think everyone that's an immigrant or a refugee, they have a foot in one world and a foot in another world, and they don't really belong to either. They're in both, but they don't belong to either. And, so this film, I think, captures that and sort of helps people come together and realize, we're in this together.
Yeah, I think so. And also I think I insist on this, is like to keep telling our own stories, because we immigrants, like, we are many stories. We are not under one umbrella. We are many stories. We all have our own. This is one of them. And like just to have this force to keep telling our own experiences, our own stories. It doesn't matter what people think or not think, if it's good or if it's bad. That is not the point. The point is to bring all these stories out more, and to tell this story of immigration from many different angles and many points of view. I think in making movies or making songs or painting or sculpting or dancing, however it comes out. But this, I think, is very important to keep having our experiences out.
Yeah, like yeah, Diana says early on in the movie, you know, everyone who comes here, you know, they come here for a reason and they want a better life. They're leaving, you know, to leave home is a very tough decision, and no one does it. They're not coming here to steal jobs, you know, it's because they're you know, political unrest or economic turmoil. You know, every immigrant comes here for a reason,
Yeah,
and there's a story. So I think
exactly.
that's great that, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
she's telling her story and your story, and we
yeah.
can all share our stories. So, any updates on Diana? And have you been in contact with her? How is she doing? And
She's great. She's been busy, which I'm so happy because, like, while this COVID is kind of like moving the grounds of all of us, she's been really busy singing and sharing her music with many immigration institutions. With like, she's been busy talking about all these things and singing her heart out around all these things
is there
online.
for people who maybe want to hear more of her music or follow her or, you know, buy her music, does she have, you know, a website or Facebook that you
Yeah, so if you go to dianagameros.com, her music is there. She's also on Spotify.
okay.
I totally like, please buy her music on Bandcamp. So she has her Bandcamp, and the 2 albums she has, they're there too for sale. For sale too, and the lyrics are there if you're interested in like reading in Spanish and in the
Yeah.
English version, because her is very poetic, her music. So yeah, go to Bandcamp and buy her music. And in terms of shows, I don't know if she's having anything coming soon, but check her website. She's always updating her stuff, and check her on Instagram. She's very active, and she's
Okay.
very active as well on Facebook. So yeah, she's very active online. So follow her
For sure.
on all platforms. Yeah.
And then for you, any updates on the film or any other screenings, or how can we, for maybe people at home that want to see it again or want to share it with someone else, how would they do that?
Sure. So after our screening, we will have another screening with KQED on August 12th. So keep checking the updates on dearhomelandfilm.com about the screening. So we just locked the date. It's gonna be August 12th, and we don't know the time yet because we're trying to see also with Spanish, English countries only, and see timings and all these things. So, and we're planning a little bit of, like, as we did last time, we had Josimar Reyes sharing some poems with us, and I'm super fan of Josimar. And so we also want to bring more people to these KQD screenings, because as I said before, many of us are telling these stories, and the more we know about each other and the more other stories we hear, the better. So one of the goals is to bring more artists to the screening. So August 12th, for sure. We're now in like looking for distribution and all these other parts. So it's not online yet. Hopefully will be at some point. We don't know when. This is all another beast that we're dealing with. But for now, that's it. And probably we will have another 2 screenings before the end of September. Okay. Again with KQED. And we are also starting our all impact plan. So if any of you are like teachers or work in like community organizations that want to bring the film to your organization or school, please contact us, because we are now starting all this. We want to bring the film to you.
Sure.
So yeah.
So all that is it dearhomeland.com?
Dearhomelandfilm.com.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We are on Instagram and we are on Facebook as well. So look for Dear Homeland Film in all the platforms.
Well, any sort of final thoughts or final anything you want to share before we sign off?
I just want to say thank you so much for watching the film. It was made for us. It was made for giving us strength and inspiration through the beautiful life of Diana Gameros, who's one of my favorite human beings on earth. I got so inspired by her making this film, and I really hope you all get very inspired by her and her story as well. And si se puede, we can, yeah, we can make our dreams happen. At whatever age, like even like I don't know, I feel like sometimes we focus a lot on the young people, but parents and grandparents that have migrated and been here for many years are also artists, and they have many things to say. And so don't be afraid to do it. I think that is the biggest theme. And
well, we got to see Diana's family at the end there, and her mom and her grandma. I mean, they were so inspirational to her, and it was so powerful. I mean, that's a whole nother story.
Oh my God.
That you could tell. But I think it shows you that, you know, even if you feel like you're too old or whatever, you can still inspire the next generation.
Oh, you can definitely. And you, like, the young ones can inspire the old ones. Like when you see Diana singing with her grandma and her mom together, it's like the most amazing thing ever. And you know, we're coming from families, we all sing all the time. We all like, so let's I don't know, let's celebrate. It's to celebrate us, and like giving us power to each other, empowering us. Yeah.
Well, thank you again, and everyone, please visit the website, and remember, don't forget to vote for audience favorite for documentary feature. So thank you so much, and hopefully we'll watch some more films sometime together real soon.
Thank you so much.